Hello, my darling dears. How are you? I hope that you are using this time for some fun and trying out some new things. And I hope that you're trying to get a little bit of school stuff in, even though it's not really school work time yet. You don't technically have to start until next week, but you might as well read some and do some math so you don't forget things. My favorite thing that we do is read alouds. And that's one thing that I can do with you every day still. And so I'm going to read a book to you called Bob. It's one of Ben's favorites. I've never read it before. I know that it's told in first person, but what's interesting is that sometimes Livy is the person telling the story, and that's the little girl. And sometimes it's Bob telling the story, and he's an alien. So this should be interesting. Chapter 1, Livy. I feel bad I can't remember anything about Gran Nicholas's house. On the table in her kitchen, Gran has lined up 3 things that I do not remember. Number 1, a green stuffed elephant in overalls. Number 2, a net bag full of black chess pieces. Number 3, a clunky old tape recorder. You loved those things when you were here before, Gran Nicholas tells me. But I don't remember any of it. Not the horses? Gran Nicholas says, pointing out the window into the dusty yard. Maybe there were horses there once. Not the pigs? Gran says, pointing out the back door. If I squint, I can make out some pigs behind the fence, but I don't remember them. Not this, she says, holding up the green stuffed elephant. When you were here before, you wouldn't let go of it. You carried it around everywhere. You wouldn't let anyone go near it. But it's like I never laid eyes on that green elephant before. It could have been anyone's stuffed green elephant, and I wouldn't have minded. My mom looks nervous. She wants me to remember, but it's not her fault I don't. She brought me here for a month when I was 5 and didn't bring me back until now. And I'm practically 11. Well, 10 and a half, almost. Of course, I remember Gran herself because we talk on the phone every week and we write each other postcards and letters. Gran tells me the news of Australia and I tell her about Massachusetts. She came to visit us once for 2 weeks, but I don't remember one thing about her house. Actually, maybe I do remember one thing. I think I remember a wrong chicken. I remember chickens, and one chicken was different. One chicken was not like the other chickens. That's what I remember. But standing there in the kitchen with everyone looking at me, I don't know how to ask Gran about that. I pick up the elephant. It's soft and floppy, and I still don't remember it. Gran sighs. She doesn't say what I know what she wants to say, which is, we should have come back sooner. On the other hand, Australia is very far away from Massachusetts. If you want to get from our house to Gran Nicholas's house, you have to do this. Drive from Massachusetts to New York City for 4 hours. Park the car. Wait for a bus at the airport. Take a plane for 7 hours to California. Get off that plane. Take another plane for 19 hours to Melbourne, Australia. Get off that plane. Wait in 3 different lines while official people look at your bags and your papers. Wait in the rental car line. Drive the car for 2 hours in Australia. Get to Gran's house. Now Mom's going to leave me here again while she goes and visits her friends from when she was growing up. The baby is way too young to stay with Gran Nicholas, so she's going with Mom. I wonder what it's going to be like here at night. I look at the chess pieces. Does Gran have the white ones? I open my mouth to ask, but instead I hear myself ask, are there chickens? Yes, she gets excited. My mom looks happy. Gran grabs my hand and runs me out into the yard where some chickens are pecking in the dirt. I look them over, but they all look regular to me. Are these the same chickens? I asked Gran Nicholas. She says that they are different chickens, but the idea of chickens is right. I don't know exactly how to ask the next question. Did you used to have one that was weird? Weird, she asks. Maybe there wasn't a weird one, or maybe they don't say weird in Australia. Never mind, I say. I realize I'm squeezing something in my hand that Gran is not holding. I open it and see that one of the black chess pieces is in my hand. A pawn. Then, coming back into the house with Gran, I see Gran's back stairs. They have carpet on them, and I suddenly know that I have bumped down those stairs. Did I ever bump down those stairs? I asked Gran, pointing. Yes, you loved bumping down those stairs. You had a name for it. A name for the stairs? No, for the bumping down them. You called it something. I think she's right. I did think I called it something, but neither of us can remember what it is. Now that I remember the chickens and the stairs, my mom looks happier. Maybe like Gran won't think we stayed away too long after all. The baby starts doing some pre-crying in her baby seat. Dad and I have invented the word pre-crying, which means crying that comes right before the really loud crying. Mom isn't fussing with her because she wants me to know that this trip is about me having special time with Grand Nicholas, and not for Grand Nicholas to finally see the baby in real life. I heard Mom talking to Dad about it when we left home. Mom said, I want Olivia to know that this trip is about her having special time with Gran, not just about the baby. Dad said, I know, hon, you told me that yesterday and this morning. Parents do that, don't we? We repeat ourselves. Dad didn't come to Australia with us. He's at home, building a new room for the baby. He says it'll be ready when we get back. I sort of remember another thing then. It's something about the second floor, but I'm not exactly sure what about the second floor it is. I'm still squeezing that black pawn. It feels good in my hand. Is there something about the second floor, I ask? Yes, said Gran. The second floor is where your room is and your 4-poster bed. But what I remember about the second floor is not a big bed with a canopy. I still don't know what it is, though. But that's not it. It's... May I be excused, I ask, already running towards the stairs. I'll come up with you, my mom says. Your room used to be my room when I was a little girl, remember? I stop, one hand on the railing of the carpeted steps that I used to bump down. And for some reason, I think I'm supposed to go alone. I glance at Mary Beth, who is still, Beth Ann. Her name's Beth Ann, not Mary Beth, who is still wiggling in her seat. Our eyes meet, as if she knows what I'm thinking. She quits her pre-crying, and she gives a full-out feed-me whimper. My mom turns around, torn between the two of us. I zoom up the steps. The doors in the upstairs hallways are all open. I peek into what must have been Gran's room, where a patchwork quilt is pulled over the bed. I pass the bathroom, where soaps are in the shapes of ducks and chickens, pretending to march across the counter on the sink. By the time I reach the last room, my room, I'm almost running, and I'm not sure why. And then I see the closet. I still don't remember the bed or the bright pink curtains, but I remember this closet. It's small. The door seems to be like half of a door, but that doesn't make much room on the other side. I think I left something inside, something really, really important. My hand reaches for the doorknob. I know exactly where the light cord is, and I watch my hand pull and reach for it, and the light flickers on. Here's what I see. Number 1, a high shelf jammed with shoe boxes and falling down stacks of old comic books. Number 2, below that, hangers, clothes on hangers dangling from a bar. There's a tutu with sequins and a few summer dresses for someone a lot smaller than me. Maybe Gran is keeping those for Beth Ann for a long, long time from now. Right now, Beth Ann is so small that she can barely keep a skirt on. One shoulder of a shirt always falls off, and if I try to fix it, she cries. On the floor, under the little dresses, is a Lego pirate ship on a brown carpet. It has 4 sails and a mast and an outlook tower and even a swimming pool. It must have taken a long time to build. Next to the pirate ship is a thick old dictionary, and on top of the dictionary is a small zombie wearing a chicken suit. He's rubbing his eyes, a Lego pirate in one green hand. Then his eyes adjust to the light, and he uses them to look up at me. He looks me up and down, and then he says, "You're back! Took you long enough." And that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.